We were 105 yesterday, weren't we?
No, 104, because it was 2 years, 104 weeks.
That's why we had a special guest.
Yeah, so we had to bring in Jakob for 104. All right, are we good?
I just know it's my work anniversary.
Yeah.
I didn't even get anything. Nobody brought me a cake or nothing.
Nope. Did you even get a virtual card?
I mean, there's
Judy?
cookies here
I got
today.
a virtual card from Judy. That's how I knew it was my work
Yeah, that's the
anniversary.
only way I ever know is when I get
They
the
just flipped him a quarter.
Yeah, exactly. That's all he needs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a couple of quarters. That's funny. All right, we'll get started then. Welcome to the Slightly Serious Sign Podcast, brought to you by Wensco Sign Supply, the #1 podcast in the sign and graphics industry for news, events, new products, and customer success stories. If you want to know what's going on or you want to grow your sign shop, you're in the right place. Here is one, some, or all of your hosts, Mike, Tyler, and Domingo. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 105 of the Slightly Serious Sign Podcast. We're back with more guests, which is good because I think people were sick of seeing just the three of us on back-to-back episodes.
The only problem I think people are having was when it was just you. Like, where's Mike?
That's the only compliments I got was on my own episode, so it must have worked out okay.
Well, they probably felt sorry for you because they realized you have literally
I
no
have
friends.
no friends. I couldn't get anyone to come on the episode. Yeah, you're probably right. So yeah, we have some guests. We're doing some training here this week. So luckily some people came in. We're like, hey, if you're here, you should probably come on the podcast because it's probably easier to do it now than fly in separately. So
Absolutely.
Do you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves? Who are you? How long you been in the industry, and what your current role is?
Sounds good. Mark, if you want to kick it off.
Sure. Yeah, Marc Bagley. I've been in the industry for 8 years with 3M the entire time. My job at 3M is to help really shop owners unlock and tap into the potential that they think their businesses have and reach the growth that they've always been looking for by taking all the amazing, incredible resources that 3M has to offer and putting them into really clean, actionable programs, marketing programs that they can take advantage of.
My name is Kevin DeSilva. I've been with 3M for just about 7 years now, and I'm responsible for, enhancing that customer experience. All the cool point of purchase displays, social media stuff, essentially creating a story that's not just about products, but how customers will take advantage of our products and, of course, apply them to their life and really take advantage of everything that way. So together, we cover primarily our personal auto side of the business. So that's everything to do with personal vehicles. We definitely touch on a little bit of fleet and stuff like that, but we're really focused on the shop level, our pro shop dealers, and really enhancing that experience for everyone.
Yeah, it was, we met at SEMA, obviously, and I saw some of the stuff you guys had in the pipeline at the time. I don't know if it's actually come out now or not, but we were talking about how 3M has, like I was making a joke that 3M has all the cool stuff and nobody knows about it oftentimes. It's, unless you are at a trade show or unless you do the tour, like you have no idea, like the stuff that like went into the process of the parts that a lot of like your competitors have just kind of been like, oh, now that's available, let's also make it, right? They weren't there for the whole first steps. So I think it's cool with what it seems like your role is and what is going to come out from 3M. I'm excited to see what happens and see all the cool stuff that is there that maybe doesn't even make it out in the public normally anyways, but is cool. I think that would be a good place to start too. We were meeting to be like, hey, what do you guys want to cover on this? Is there anything we can and can't talk about, right?
Yeah.
You were kind of going through some of the stuff that
You didn't ask about families, though. Remember, we're supposed to talk about
yeah,
the person.
sorry. Yeah, let me back up.
This is why I have to be here.
Yeah, thank you.
Mike's the moderator.
Okay, the other questions that I'm supposed to, I never ask. I only ever ask.
You don't
if
ever
Domingo's
care about.
on.
You got to care about people like me.
I know, I'm sorry. So the other question that we ask is, do you have family at home? Where are you from? And then your favorite place to eat. And that can be at home, or a lot of you guys travel as well for trade shows. Is there a place where you're like, if I go here, I have to eat there?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I got 2 young sons. So I'm a dad. I got a 7-year-old and an almost 4-year-old. My 4-year-old's nuts. My 7-year-old's pretty normalized. So at least that goes over well. But yeah, it's always fun. I travel quite a bit for work, but whenever I get to go home, I like to be on dad mode all the time, coaching football, playing sports with them, wrestling in some type of way. My kids love WWE. So I always got to watch out about my oldest trying to RKO me out of nowhere. So things are always fun that way. From a food standpoint, honestly, I travel enough that I try and eat local staples, right? So if I'm on, like I was in New Orleans recently, had to have, my seafood boil, right? Of course, etouffee, all that kind of good stuff. If I go West Coast, it's Japanese or sushi. If I go to Texas or Alberta, steak, baby. And I say Alberta because I'm Canadian. So I'm actually living in Toronto, Ontario, or just on the outskirts of it. So yeah, I'm the local Canada guy that got to cross the border over here and have, you guys in the podcast over this way. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. And I'm from San Diego. My beautiful wife is from San Diego, and we've moved all around for 3M, but that's where we currently reside with our 2-year-old son. So I'm thinking about a second here shortly. So we'll see. Continuing to expand.
You already get in trouble for putting your microphone closer. Rick's already yelling at us.
Oh, all right. There we go. Is that better?
So you guys both have young boys.
2 years old.
2 boys.
Yeah, I don't miss those days. I hated my kids. Still do.
Yeah, you were making a joke that your 7-year-old is normalized now, and your other one is crazy. My 3-year-old impaled himself today, and that doesn't surprise anybody that knows him. So, yeah, I just get a picture of him bleeding, and she's like, "Yeah, he's fine."
Impaled on.
They don't even know. Just literally just like he got stabbed.
They got to get in there and dig it out.
I don't know what it was, but yeah, he's fine. But
funny.
He's out of control. That's the point of the story. I
tell
ridiculous.
anyone that knows my 4-year-old that he's probably the first one in our family to get arrested once the time he hits 16. Like, I'm putting money on it right now. So the kid's nuts. It's a lot of fun though, right?
Yeah.
It keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, definitely. It does for sure. So going back to what we're saying, 3M is kind of makes all the cool stuff. A lot of people don't even know that it exists until it comes up. You're like, wait, what in the world? And so the one you brought up was kind of how PPF came about. And when you told me, I was like, that is kind of a crazy story that I feel like nobody even knows about, at least anybody that I know. So if you want to go ahead and explain that, because I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword because there's so many cool stories like this one.
Yep.
And it's the cool thing is we get the chance to tell it. The hard thing is we're the only ones that can tell it. You know? So paint protection film as we know it today originated during the Vietnam War. So the terrain of the jungles and just kicking things up as the helicopters were landing was damaging the blades so quickly that the serviceable life of these blades was basically non-existent. I think at one point it was as low as like 20 hours of flight time, and they're switching blades in and out, right? So the military came to 3M like many of our customers do and say, you know, we've got a problem. Can you figure out something? We don't know what, but just find a solution for us. We made the first ever urethane adhesive backed film that we put on the leading edge of all the propellers on the helicopter blades, and we improved the service life into the thousands of hours. So they were able to continue to operate these helicopters back and forth, get troops in and out safely, quickly, and have much less downtime. So since then it's evolved into, went from helicopters to NASCAR to just kind of the general racing industry. And now it's such a commercial grade, retail grade product people are putting on every vehicle. So
it started from helicopters, and now there's an industry built off of it, right? So 3M has been innovating for years and years, and we never know where it's going to go. But the funny part is, we're here doing training today as well. And, some of your staff is learning about how to install leading door edge kits. And that's exactly where it originated from, on the leading edge of these helicopter blades. And 50 years later, here we are teaching something, the same concepts, but with a new modern product applied to new modern technologies.
Yeah. I think it's interesting when you talk about what it was designed for in the first place, right? For helicopter blades. So when someone's going out there and they're selling this, right, to people that are just driving down the road, and it's like, oh, is this going to protect my car? I'd be like, listen, if they can put on a helicopter blade, I promise you your car's gonna be just fine. There's no way it's putting more damage than that is. So like, we always talk about it if the pros are comfortable using it, it's probably going to work just fine for you, right? And if it's comfortable enough to be on helicopter blades, your Tesla is probably going to be just fine if we put PPF on it. So what do you on the PPF side of things? What are things that when you guys are out in the field talking to customers, what do you see them, what their initial perception of PPF is compared to, is there anything they think about it that you guys would be like, oh no, I don't think you fully understand what this product is or what it does?
So I think, when it comes to PPF, there was, first off, understanding that it's a sacrificial product at the end of the day, right? It's not a permanent solution. Our modern films today have a 10-year warranty on it, which seems to be more of that industry standard. But at the end of the day, it's intended to take the damage that your paint otherwise would take. So from a warranty standpoint, sometimes people are wondering hey, if I get into a bad accident and it chips my paint underneath, am I covered? Well, no, right? If you didn't have PPF, however, on top of that, imagine how much more money it's going to cost. And in minors, say parking lot fender benders or slight scratches, you remove that film and chances are that paint is pristine underneath. So it's really managing those expectations, but also understanding, what is reasonable. Just like if I was driving behind a tractor trailer on a dirt road that's shooting, pebbles at my car for 80 kilometers or, 60 miles, if you will, my car's going to get peppered. That film will eventually have to take the brunt end of all of that. So understanding that it is a sacrificial product, but at the end of the day, intended that if you take care of it, you will get that full lifespan out of it that way. And unlike other products that, have say ceramic coatings that are maybe a little bit more popular and talked about, they're two fundamentally different things. PPF is all about protection, which is why it's called PPF itself, right? Paint protection film, where ceramic coating is really just creating something a little bit more aesthetically pleasing and helping with dirt and debris, but not giving that same level of protection. So really managing those expectations that way. So you guys obviously sell a ceramic coat as well. So when I talk about this, do you feel like ceramic coat is being overused isn't the right word, but maybe it's being oversold in terms of what it can actually do for the car and for the paint and for actual protection? Because I think when we see it out in the field and some people are like, oh, we could PPF, but instead we're just ceramic coating them and that's fine. And you're having to go in and explain to them, well, like, it's not really though. Like, I think what you think it is and what it actually does are two different things.
It's not easy either. People think, oh, I can ceramic coat. No.
Yeah. Well, the people that think it's
go to
easier,
someone that's done it before.
The people that think it's easy are using the spray and wipe ceramic coats. And you're like, I don't think you understand how it works. There's no possible way you can just quick spray and wipe it and it's done. Like, I don't think you understand how ceramic coat works.
The 3M stuff, the one I had, it comes in like a bottle like that.
Yeah.
And that's for your whole car. You have to understand that.
Yeah.
Actually, even up to 4
cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That bottle does 4. Yeah.
Let's just.
So you have 4 times the protection on yours.
There's no.
Just pump that bad boy out.
No, that's not true. I got like 100 times protection in some areas and 0 in others.
Yeah, I believe it.
It's like.
Yeah. So, but do you guys think it's being way, not overused, but oversold in terms of the capability of ceramic coat compared to PPF?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of terms too that float out around there, like 9H hardness, and like there's just a lot of the kind of buzzwords that can get used that don't actually substantiate and mean a whole lot. And at the end of the day, like Kevin said, what it's really providing is a hydrophobic layer to whatever your stack is. And that could be just directed to the paint, could be on top of a film. And it's really to just help keep it clean. It's not even, some people I've heard say like, it improves the warranty. It makes the warranty last even longer. And you're like, yeah, like theoretically, if dirt's not sitting on it, like maybe, but it's from like a UV degradation standpoint, right? It's not going to take your warranty any further or anything like that. It's helps keep your car look nice and clean and shiny. And, that's
the thing I noticed. It was versus like a regular wax. Like it lasts way longer, but when you come out of the car wash, even like your car's dry.
Yeah.
You know how you come out of the car wash and your car's not dry, even though you went through the dryer. Ceramic coat, it'll come out dry.
What's awesome is that, a ceramic coating is also versatile, right? You could put it on paint, you could put it on plastic, you could put it on PPF, you could put it on your glass or your windshield. So some shops love to, put it on that windshield so that if you're driving down the freeway, you'll actually see the water bead right off. You arguably won't even use your wipers, but
I did on my shower doors.
Yeah.
Clean off all the hard water spots, like on a shower, and ceramic coat it. You'll never get hard water spots.
That was a great idea.
I'm doing that.
Yeah, I did a pair of leather shoes too.
Yeah.
Living in Minnesota when I did, like, you'd get like the salt and stuff on like your shoes. And I was like, I wonder if I can coat this. And I did. And it helped.
Now, just for your listeners, remember, there's no warranty if you put it on leather shoes, right? So we are limiting for our automotive surfaces. But
I'm definitely doing my shower door for sure.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Do you, have you seen, so obviously 3M sells a ceramic coat. Have you seen any degradation in the PPF or the color change or tint from some of these non-3M, I'm going to go quote unquote ceramic coats that are out there in the market?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 100%. the same as like sensors too, right? There's so many, and there's like every car has different sensor technology. We've got incredible in-house testing capabilities, but we can't keep up to date with how everybody else's coatings will interact with our films. So anytime there's a competitive coating out there that's not made by 3M on a 3M film, if it causes some issue, it's pretty tough to ascertain, what ultimately led to that failure, right? And so that could be a challenge that we come up against.
I just see a lot of products out there that are quote unquote calling themselves ceramic coat, and you're just looking at whether it's the cost or how it's applied or the material that comes in, and you're just like, there's just no way this is legit, right? Like there's no, like, ceramic coat is it's not new, right? But in terms of popularity, I think it's growing very rapidly right now. So the amount of products that are out there calling themselves ceramic coat, and there's no like standard, right? You can't just look in the bottom and be like, oh yeah, that's definitely ceramic coat, right? There's just no way to test it. So that's why I bring it up, is I think there's a lot of people using products that are being called ceramic coating that are one, they're not, and two, they are actually physically eating into the plastic.
Like if we talk graphics, we could probably name a handful of suppliers that we know about, right? That obviously play within that space. You talk about ceramic coating, I guarantee you could probably bring up names I've never even heard of, right? Like there's 50, 60 different ones. And it's because fundamentally it's a chemical in a bottle. So at the end of the day, it's about the performance, the time frame. And I think, one of the benefits that we have is that we were a little late to the game when we originally launched our ceramic coating versus when the market took off. But our job was really to focus on ways to improve it. So our one bottle could do up to 4 vehicles with 1 layer each, or 2 vehicles with 2 layers each. So either a 3-year warranty or an up to 5.
Or 1 if you're Mike.
One
or
vehicle
just one
with 10 layers on one side
just
and
the
none on
same
the other.
coverage. Yeah.
But what's awesome about it is that it's really fast. So a lot of shops, like if they're doing this for maybe a different brand, you might have to keep the car overnight before you could wait for it to cure, and then do your second layer, keep it overnight for it to cure, and then release it to the customer. We only have a 4-hour cure time and only an hour required between your first and second layer. So by the time you get around the whole car, you pretty much can offer a 5-year solution the same day for customer to pick up if you started that job at 9 a.m. without having to worry, as opposed to filling up your bay and waiting for 2 or 3 days and then waiting to deliver and make that same profit. So, ceramic coating is a great upsell opportunity as a way to kind of make some additional, would you like fries with that? But they are fundamentally different when you bring it back to that PPF versus say that ceramic coating. 2 very different markets. And of course, still some level of maintenance. Like someone who's going to get their car ceramic coated, the last thing I want to do is go through an aggressive car wash and, cook at it and all that kind of stuff, right? Let the car do its thing. Make sure you clean it by hand. There's certain ways that you got to maintain these products as well. It's not just put it on and then fingers crossed you're good to go into the future.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, and I was going to say earlier when we were talking about all the different ceramic coatings, if it's $8.99 at Walmart, it's not ceramic coating. It may say ceramic on it, but no, it's not.
Yeah.
Like if you want to put it on your 91 Cavalier, go ahead.
Yeah.
But like if you get anything better than that, probably don't.
Actually, at this point, if you still have a 91 Cavalier, I also recommend you don't do it. It's probably worth
You could probably get classic car insurance for that car at that point.
Yeah, no kidding. So speaking of you're talking about the difference between people that are doing PPF and people that are doing ceramic coating. The other thing that you guys have is your PWF, and that has been a big question with the rise on colored PPF, and then you guys came out with PWF, and we're having to explain to people like, well, no, they're very specifically the thing I always said is 3M's being very particular about the words they use here when they came out with PWF, right? So, do you want to explain the difference between what a PPF is and what PWF is kind of trying to accomplish there?
Yeah. It's a blend of kind of 2 worlds or genres of film that people are really familiar with, right? So you've got the personalization aspect with colored wrap film, our 2080 series, formerly the 1080 series. And then you've got clear paint protection film that was originated as, helicopter blade protection to NASCAR to what we know now. This film, protection wrap film or PWF, kind of marries the best of both worlds. So you get that personalization element of choosing the color or the finish you want between glosses and mattes and metallics and flips, with the added protection benefits of a urethane base film. So it's not, vinyl laminated with urethane. It is urethane top to bottom. The color is impregnated into the entire urethane bulk layer. And so it's a durable product that protects from paint chips, has a self-healing top coat on it. So swirl marks and light scratches heal from the heat of the sun, but it lets you choose your color the same as it would for typical vinyl wrap.
Do you think this is kind of like a personal dig, which works really well for you guys on who I'm aiming this towards, but do you feel like
Noted.
there is an over exaggeration on what people are calling colored PPF nowadays? Like the price that we see some of this new colored PPF quotes, if you're listening on audio, coming in just doesn't even make sense for what the product has to be, what the thickness of the product is when it comes in, and you're just looking at it like there's just no way, right, that this is a true PPF product.
And again, if it's $8.99 at Walmart, it is not clear PPF.
Yeah, or if it's coming in direct from China and it's $2 for the roll, maybe think about it again.
Yeah, not all things are created equal, right? And like anything, it's at face value. You can say that it's a colored protection film, and it might categorically fit into that. It doesn't mean that they're the same side by side. It's not oranges to oranges, when and we still see it in the market because there's a variety of different compositions we see. We do see some films out there that are a vinyl base layer laminated with a clear urethane. We also see some that maybe say they're full urethane, but the color is actually impregnated into the top coat, that self-healing top coat, which is only about as thick as a human hair. So the second you get a rock chip or something like that, it's like, there goes your color. Now I see my white bumper paint coming through, right? So yeah, I think whenever 3M looks at the, products we bring to market, we look at the best, most efficient from an installer standpoint, something that we feel comfortable standing behind. And we've been in this business for so many decades that we know that we'll continue to be in this business for decades. And we need to have a product that we can stand behind when that time comes. Right. So,
yeah, I sat in and listened to one of the panels at RapsCon last year in August, and one of the big talking points, right, is colored PPF is coming, right? It's here, it's changing, and I think you brought up a great point there, right, where they can call it a color change protection film, but is that actually PPF? No, that's kind of my argument with it too. It's like, we're not actually talking about colored PPF, right? Because really, 2080 is technically a color change protection film. How much protection does it give you?
Not as much.
Correct.
Duct tape.
It's a color protection.
It's got color. Could protect whatever it's applied to. Yeah.
And we've got multiple colors of duct tape out there. So
exactly. So you got a few choices there. But yeah, like that's and like it just didn't come up right on the panel where everyone is just like, oh yes, we understand that colored PPF is coming. And be like, well, colored protection film is coming, but like colored PPF itself is, I don't think we're there. And I think what people are putting on their cars of thinking it's the same protection as PPF is not quite the same. And it's also so new that you're like, they're putting on these 12, 15-year warranted films. You'd be like, okay, that's great, but this company's been in business for 45 days. How can they get a 12-year warranty on their product?
We see that all the time, right?
Right. Yeah. So I just think that's interesting right now in the age of like everything that comes out feels like it's colored PPF, and you're like, how are we rating what is PPF and what's just regular film? I don't know. It's just interesting at this point, but
yeah, absolutely.
So the other thing that we're talking about with those products we were making a joke about coming in from China is right now we're in the age where if you want to find a cheaper alternative to whatever you're using, right? This could be color change film, PPF, automotive tint, right? Any of them, you can find it, right? From somebody, someone will ship it to you, and the label on the box may be different if you order it 2 weeks after you ordered the first one, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
How do you guys look at that from the perspective of like, you're going into these shops, right, who historically have used a 3M product, right? And now they're like, oh, we're looking at, XYZ brand that's coming from who knows where. Where do you guys have those conversations with like, hey, just be aware of what you're getting, or what are you guys doing to kind of keep them in the 3M space?
So I think, there are so many different options out there, but you only have one chance to have a good reputation and leave your customer with a good impact. And, I've heard a saying before where like reputation is like a tube of toothpaste. You could squeeze it all out, but good luck putting it back in. You lose that customer, one customer may give you some referrals, and referrals are king. But if you don't do a good job for that customer and they're paying good money and expectations are not being met, that is going to spread like the plague, right? So I think the reality is coming up with good quality products that are going to withstand the test of time. Like our window tint products have lifetime warranties, aka 25 years, which will exceed, the lifespan of the vehicle in most 99% of the times. The idea is to give them that upfront quality, that upfront product, but then also ensure that if something were to go bad, by working with 3M, we're going to be around. We've been around for over 100 years. We'll take care of that warranty. We'll make sure that they're taken care of, especially for our dealers, so that customer has that peace of mind. I think the biggest thing that is often forgotten when it comes to these cheaper alternatives, especially for the overseas products that are showing up, $1 a square foot, whatever it is that you might save money today, but then for that customer, that end person that is saving those couple bucks when they're getting their windows tinted for real cheap, the cost of removal, the cost of cleaning, and the cost of doing it all over again, and your time to deal with it ends up costing 3 times more, right? There's a saying that there's nothing more expensive than a cheap pair of shoes, because you got to replace them every year. It's the same thing here when it comes down to these products. You might get temporary solutions, but it's not going to withstand the test of time, and it's going to cost you more in the long run. So doing it right the first time with something that is trusted, tried, and true is always better. And I mean, we spend tons of time weather testing our products and doing our due diligence. So we've got tons of engineers that, this is what they do for a living to make sure that these products are going to last. And I think that's something that we really pride ourselves on, is not just creating a product because there's a need for it, but finding how it's going to be applied to someone's life and they're actually going to benefit. It's a lot of why we do what we do, as opposed to just creating a solution for the sake of dollars and cents.
Yeah. And the other thing is, you spend the most money in your life. Most people spend the most money in your life on your car. Like it's now more than a house, because you average 2 people a house, you average 2 cars per people, and the cars are not 20 grand anymore. A lot of people are buying $60,000, $70,000 cars. 5 years or turn another one over. So it's the most expensive thing you buy. Protect it.
Yeah.
And don't protect it with something that's $8.99.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
and learn to sell that way, right?
Yes, exactly right. Like you got to protect that. I was at a shop in Cleveland, and the guy came in for window tint, and he sells 3M window tint, and the guy wanted it cheaper, and he said, "Well, you literally are sitting with a $90,000 car, and you're worried about someone being $100 cheaper. Go there."
Yeah.
He said, "Enjoy your $100 cheaper in your $90,000 car," and the guy ended up buying it from him. But I'm like, that's a great. That was actually a great selling point. Like. It's
easy come, easy go. I mean, if your value prop and your sales pitch, doesn't matter what you are and what you're selling and who you're selling to. If that's your pitch, you know, that customer is going to just as easily move on to the next guy with a slightly lower price too, right? Or next gal with a slightly lower price. So if you don't find that unique asymmetry in the market that you can tap into and sell to, that resonates with your customer. To your point, like talking about how much do you spend on your vehicle, right? And you really want to cheap out on that?
When you start thinking about it, it's the most expensive thing you're going to, like you guys, younger guys, you'll spend more on your cars than you will on your house, which older people were different. Yeah. Because cars weren't as much. But you guys will spend more on cars over your lifespan than you will on a house.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I saw somebody yesterday, they said, hey, has anyone tried blank product? I won't mention the name here. We would be not fans of it. We'll put it that way. But, and they were like, I'm just looking at an alternative. I've been using Y product for 12 years. That was the whole post. And my brain was like, why? Like you read through and you're like, are you having issues with the new? They're like, no, we're just looking for a cheaper alternative. Be like, so you have a product that's worked for you for over 10 years at this point, and you're just out here like, yeah, you know what? I could save a few dollars. Like, it doesn't even make sense to me. Right. Like, if you're like, this has worked perfect, my customers don't complain, I've had no issues with it, I don't understand the mentality of like, oh, I can make a few more dollars. You know, you could also just make a few more dollars if you just charged whatever you want to make up on the back end, right? If you're doing vehicle graphics, fleet works, or general long-term signage, MetaMark makes materials for how installs happen in the real world. MD5 is a super versatile film. MD5B is for spot graphics, partial wraps, or general long-term signage. It comes with Meta Escape, which is an aerogress technology made for bubble-free installs. MD5UB is their ultra high-tech version of that film. This is made for textured surfaces, block walls, or low energy plastics. You can check all of those out at Wensco.com. MetaMark, made for professionals.
Well, and there's a lot of games that get played with roll sizes too, right? I mean, going back to protection wrap film, for example, the other thing you see in that market a lot is, and I wouldn't say that's even a game, it's just different size lengths of rolls. And so if that's the price that you are thinking about versus, well, what does this actually cost per square foot? You know, that's where there's also some differences too, right?
We've talked about that. Our competitors play that same game. Yeah. Like we sell 100-foot rolls of banner when everybody else sells 150. But when you see that price of $89.99
per
roll, you're like, oh, it's cheaper. Yeah. And wait a minute, I only got 100 feet. They sell 150 feet for $93. I should have bought the $93 roll. Yeah. So you see it across. I mean, everybody's playing the games. They probably always have. Just now it's way easier to sort it out.
But as a buyer, you should think about it that way, right? Like, what is not only my unit cost, but like, what is my cost of ownership for this job, right? Which in a lot of cases includes removal too. And those are the things where if a company's been in business for 45 days, do you really know how that's going to remove 5 years down the line, you know?
Exactly. And speed of installation, right? You're working with PWF. If you want to do it wet, you could do it wet. You want to do it dry, you could do it dry. So there's ways to speed up and kind of tap into kind of what your preferences are as well with the same product. And we give you enough material for a full roll to do a full truck. You don't need to worry about getting 2 separate rolls in hopes that it's going to match up in color, and fingers crossed you got enough on those 2 purchases to get it all taken care of.
I find it interesting when you run into customers that have been using 3M right for forever, right? And they will be super stubborn about it, right? In terms of like, hey, have you tried this product? And they're like, nope, I'm good. And I think everyone else looks at it and is like, oh, this guy just loves 3M, right? He doesn't care. And if you sat down and talked to those people, most of the time they've tried the other products and have been burnt, right? Especially people that have been doing this 15, 20 years, right? They'll be like, yeah, one time I had to do this removal, never touching that product again, right? But if like you just see it from the perspective of like, oh, I'm looking for a cheaper alternative, and they're just like, okay, find another shop to do it. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And it's just those people have had the experience of being burned and being like, no, I know this will work. I haven't had issues. I'm just staying right here. There's no reason to change. So,
and you know, everybody is guilty also of being in those situations, whether you're a manufacturer or distributor, right? Like stuff happens and stuff goes south sometimes. And it's important that, like, you know, we strive with our sales team to just always have that connectivity with your customer, right? And hopefully like your listeners feel that as well, because that's what we always strive for. And nobody's perfect, right? There's going to be times where I'm sure people feel like they've been burned by whoever. I think that's what we always, you know, is top of mind though for our sales team is, you know, having that relationship with their customer. They can be honest and try to work through things regardless of, you know, what happened. Right.
Yeah.
We don't mess things up here.
No. We're perfect.
Usually we're
absolutely no issues. So on the other end of the spectrum in terms of people who are looking for a cheaper product. So if somebody does come to you guys and was like, hey, we're looking for, I always find this funny, we're looking for the best product for this job. And you'd be like, okay, well, I'm gonna need a lot more specifics than if that's the case, right? How do you guys go about making sure someone finds the right product for their particular job, and whether that's in PPF or in tint, either way?
Questions.
I mean, I would say this applies to not just those products, but to everything. Actually, I was, you know, in a sales training capacity for 3M, but when I was new, you know, it's not common or not uncommon for when you're new at 3M in sales to go do ride-alongs with some other, you know, more seasoned reps, right, that have been doing it quite a while. And at 3M, we've got two sales forces. We've got the channel team that calls on the shops. We also have a brand owner team that calls on the end users. And so I was riding along with an end user rep, a brand owner rep who's no longer with the company, so I can tell the story.
Oh yeah, this is a good one.
But we're in New York, right? And we're calling on Toys R Us, and this was as Toys R Us was just about to close up all their stores and things like that, and they we're walking around the store with this team, and they're trying to use graphics to make it like very, very experiential. We get towards the end of the call and everything's looking great. Like we're about to land this like huge floor graphics program, and you know, somebody in the back goes, hey, like, how easy does this stuff remove? And like, we're in such a groove that this very seasoned rep goes, oh, it comes up in a GIF, like super easy. No adhesive left behind, like really clean removal, and like just like blows past it, right? And it killed the whole sale. Well, it killed the sale because he didn't ask like a simple question, which is like, well, what's your concern about removability? Well, I'm concerned a kid's going to pick at it, and then, you know, grandma that brought their kid into the store is going to trip over it. So actually, we don't want to use something that comes up that easily, right? And it's like one question would have determined if that sale would have gone through or not. So asking those questions and following through to really understand like the core of like, what are you looking for is going to be the most important thing. Because at the end of the day, nothing's more expensive than rework, regardless of whatever product you're putting down initially.
That's funny. You tell that story. I just had that story with the rep. Whereas it was almost the same story. Like before you answer the question, find out if they want it to be removed.
Yeah.
Then
you want to be a consultant.
Your question, your answer's different. Like, like, do you want it to be removed? Yeah. What do you need it to be removed? When you plan on removing it? Oh no, I didn't want, same thing. I didn't want some kid to pick at it and pull it off the wall. I'm like, oh, then we can make it stick to the wall.
It's very different.
You might take your drywall down when you do want it off, but no kid's going to get it off the wall for sure.
Yeah. The best salespeople always ask the best questions, right? So it's just a matter of, kind of getting that full picture, understanding what your customer actually cares for, and then suggesting a product. I can answer a question within 30 seconds, sure, but is it going to be what you actually need? No, I'd rather make sure that we have one conversation to give you what you want, and then we're all walking away happy in terms of that product.
Yeah. And with your guys' portfolio, right, there's so many products in that space, right? So, so frequently, like someone will ask like, oh, I'm trying to do this thing, right? There's two answers that are pretty safe most of the time, right? You'll be like, okay, it's going to be this or this. You'll be like, okay, sweet. But there's also 13 other products if there's one variable that's different in this,
correct.
right? Maybe it's you're thinking, oh, it's going on drywall, right? And then it's like, oh, actually it's on concrete. Oh, and it's outside. Oh, and it faces the sun at all times.
Bingo.
It's like, oh, these are very different things than I thought it was going on an indoor wall that's smooth, right?
Yeah.
So,
and as it relates to personal auto, that's largely where Kevin focuses, right? Is giving those shops the tools to walk their customers through that buying process. And so our personal auto portfolio is a little bit different from graphics in the sense of graphics. It's usually like that product for that application. In the personal auto space, these shops often will sell more of a suite of products and go through that sales process and understand like, okay, you just want the aesthetics of darker window film, for example, or do you want the aesthetic of dark window film with the function of rejecting heat, infrared heat and UV and things like that. And let's talk about what our options are there. Or do you want something no one else has? Let's look at crystalline. So we try to provide shops with those assets as best we can to help them with the sales process.
Do you think those shops are doing more, like from my perspective, somebody who's who's looking outside in from tint, I think most people are probably walking to their shops thinking like, oh, I just want dark windows, right? That's probably the majority of them, right? We'll talk about like crystalline fleet too, but for most people, they're coming in and be like, yeah, I just want dark windows, right? And it's the shops that are having to go and explain, be like, okay, well, we have options here, right? Yep. Like, what do you? This is what you want, right? You say you want this one, but have you thought about these ones? And I think most of the time it feels like the shops are going to have to do that upsell because the customer isn't coming in saying like, yeah, I'd really love the UV to be 99.9% reduced when it's coming in my windows. And like, they don't even know that's what they're actually asking for when they come in, unless the shop's going to upsell them on it.
Yeah. The good news is
you guys do a very good job of your marketing on that. Because it's hard to walk into a good 3M tint shop that doesn't have, the heat little things like, hey, this is their film, this is our film, put your hand on it. This is the difference. This is the difference in the heat. Like it can be tinted and not and all the heat comes through.
Yeah, we
or it can
that.
be tinted and no heat comes through. So yeah, it's hard to find a tint shop that doesn't, like a good tint shop that doesn't have those tools and ain't showing that stuff. But
tint is often either like a question of style and aesthetic, or it's something about a lifestyle, right? The same product could be relevant to someone who wants dark windows and is looking for that privacy space, or, making that finished look for their vehicle, versus a mom who's taking their kids back and forth to soccer practice and is worried about the UV rays. The benefit though is that all of our tints have 99% UV guarantee. So at least we're good on that front and recognized by the Skin Cancer Society. So we make sure that, the products we're putting out there, they're going to last, but they're also going to do these different things. And then the range is really a question of things like ceramics, how we make the constructions, the infrared rejection. And of course, ceramics will be absorbing heat, where our multi-layered films like our crystalline is actually more like a mirror where it's rejecting heat. So we've got different constructions for different folks. In my experience as a sales rep, I remember going to a high-end Ferrari restoration shop. These guys were restoring Ferraris before 2005, essentially. So a lot of those cars wanted the fishbowl look, but not the fishbowl feel. So what do? We came out with our crystalline product in the 80%, and now they got that fishbowl look, but their leathers were not fading, their dashes were not fading. They were able to get all those wants, but that was the right product for them. So we try and make sure that we have the right solution depending on the right demographic and what that person wants. And darker isn't necessarily more efficient. Comes in different options, and that's where that education kind of plays a role.
Yeah, we talked earlier about having you guys come back out because one thing for me is skin cancer. Obviously, I people that listen know I had melanoma, and like it's not talked about enough.
Yeah.
Like as much time as I spend 60,000 miles a year in a car.
Yep.
Like I mean, the sun is beating down on you all the time, and does you wake up every day knowing you're going to drive all day and put sunscreen on? No, you don't. You just get in the car and go, and you don't think anything about it. So
1 in 5 Americans will develop skin cancer. That's a proven statistic. And actually, this scar right here and this scar, I just had skin cancer removed in December, and over 50% of skin cancer in Americans shows up on the left side of the face and the left arm. Right. So
mine unfortunately was not sun related, which makes it worse. Which makes it worse. But no, I think at some point we'll have you back, and I'm going to do my car completely, and then we'll put it out there as, more of like
the demo.
A cancer. Like I think everybody should, honestly, if their car doesn't come that way, you should put it on there because it's going to kill you, not me. Nobody felt sorry for me when that happened. No. They called me Cancer Boy and everything. Yeah,
that did happen. Jeez. Not for me. Could have been anyone, allegedly.
No, it was everybody. Oh, I would they would see me not doing something. You could still do it, Cancer Boy. Get over here and do it. But it might have went both ways.
We just called you a big faker. That's what we called it.
Might have went both ways.
Just faking.
I think it was on my way home from surgery. I wanted to stop at the new Chinese restaurant, and I said, "Hey, can we stop at the Chinese restaurant?" Your mom, no. I'm like, Cancer Boy came and eat like his final meal at the Chinese restaurant.
Meal.
So
it's just
the Last Supper.
Yeah,
it's because he made you not feel bad for him about 10 days into it. You're like, yeah, it's already over. We're done with the act.
I would call. Can you guys come bring me something? I got cancer.
The demo that you guys did at the SEMA show with the heat lamps is a sweet demonstration for anyone that hasn't seen it in terms of the bulbs basically, and you're just kind of walking through the little area, and it's blazing hot for the first half, and then the second half you can't feel anything at all. And if someone hasn't experienced what that's like, they all are familiar with the experience on the other side, right? Where you get in your car, like especially like my car's out there, right? Fully black, right? If I get in there in July and August, it's like, oh, that's cool. It's 107 degrees in here. This is awesome.
Cooking.
but if they haven't seen that demo, they don't even know that's like an option, right? They're just thinking like, oh, I have a black car. It's going to always be hot. Right. But it's cool to see that demonstration. You've kind of brushed over what crystalline is, but do you want to explain what it is? I know it's big in fleet, and explain kind of where you guys are seeing it most used right now.
Yeah.
Mark, why don't you tell them the story about, cell phones and how that all started as well?
Yeah, this is like another cool, origination story. So like if you think back to the old brick phone, like Zach Morris Saved by the Bell days, those things would die in 30 minutes because behind every single button was its own incandescent bulb. And so back then, very similar to the situation with the military, all these phone manufacturers come to 3M and are like, can you solve this problem for us? And at the time you could solve it one of two ways: bigger battery, which means a bigger, even heavier phone, or reduce energy consumption. So we tackled that problem and said, how can we reduce the lights the light consumption of this phone to extend the life of the battery? Out of that, we developed the first multi-layer optical film, which was just over 400 layers of essentially plastic, all compressed together to a film that's still thinner than a Post-it note. So you can imagine just how thin every layer is. But what it did is it created the world's most effective mirror. So it returns like 99.9% of all the visible light. So if I had one in this room and I rolled it up,
I have one in my office.
Do you?
I have one.
Oh yeah. I should send Hicks to go get it.
Yeah. If you roll it up and then you close an end,
Pinch
it looks like a flashlight.
Exactly.
So cool.
Like, it's a sweet bar trick.
Yeah. All the light that filters in, like you said, filters right back out. You squeeze the bottom and it turns on like a flashlight. So, and that's all light is, right? When you look at automotive window films, and that's why we try not to even use the word tint anymore, because with crystalline, you can have.
Does anyone else make that film? Or is
no, it's a multi-layer. Yeah, we patented it.
Proprietary.
So you're on every cell phone?
We're in a lot of electronics.
Let's just say there's probably at least 30 to 40 different components in those phones right in front of you right now.
If you're the only one that has it, that price is probably high. That's a high margin item.
This is a slightly caveat on this one.
That's why phones cost $1,000. It's that dang layer.
At least it fits in your pocket now, right? So that's a benefit.
Is the dichroic film in that same space?
Exactly.
Then? Okay.
Yeah. So that's nice. I've actually never had somebody connect those dots like that, but that's exactly what it is. So dichroic film is also multi-layer optical film. All you do is adjust the number of layers. So 400 gives you this silver mirrored finish, right? When you shave it down, that's how you get to dichroic film, because now instead of bending the visible light, now you're playing with the visible light, kind of almost like a prism effect. And that's how you get those cool colors in the dichroic film without any like metals, dyes and things like that to give you those colors.
And that's where crystalline is 200 layers, because we want to reduce those layers down, but then also enable it to be conformable. So that way you could shrink it and, mold it to a 3-dimensional surface and not just a flat surface. So it's the same technologies, just playing with the number of layers, but ultimately reflecting heat as opposed to absorbing heat, right? So any ceramic that you hear out there from a window, tint standpoint is kind of acting like a sponge. And what happens when a sponge gets saturated? Water eventually runs through. It's the same thing. Ultimately, this ceramic will be absorbing heat to an extent. And once you pass that extent, that heat's still coming through. Our crystalline is literally reflecting and rejecting heat by comparison. So it's a very, very different type of product.
Yeah, it's if you haven't seen the dichroic film, that was my caveat. It is sweet to see. Yeah, when you see it, and it's cool when it runs through we were plotting it, and even if you just watch it on the plotter, it looks like it's two totally different films when it keeps retracting it. It's really cool.
If you Google the 3M Open trophy, the last year's 3M Open, they actually incorporated it into the trophy. So as they're holding it and it's just like shimmering in the sun, you get all those different colors. It's beautiful.
Yeah, the first time we saw it was you guys had, apparently used to have, because Brian just said they lost it, but they lost the package and all of them went away. But they had made a backlit sign with dichroic film was the eyes of the bull. So as looked at it from different angles, one, it looked like it was watching you because it would literally follow you along, but two, it was a totally different color.
Yeah.
And then when you backlight it, it changes colors again because now it's a totally different spectrum. So it's a really cool film, but that's interesting that it's the same product. So we ran into this at a shop that was doing a lot of fleet, so a lot of like trucks, like long road trucks. Is that where you guys have seen the primary market for this product?
Yeah, for sure. And again, that's why we really try to stick to the moniker of automotive window film, because I think when people, it's one of the most common misconceptions when they hear tint, they think dark. And then when they think dark, they think illegal, right?
Yeah.
The big difference between commercial vehicles and personal vehicles is the personal vehicles are regulated at a state level. And so every state tells you what you can and can't do with your tint. The commercial vehicles, though, they're regulated by the FMCSA, which is the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration subsegment of the U.S. Department of Transportation, so federal, right? And the legislation is really clear. It's the windshield, the driver's side, and the passenger side need to be a net 70, but standard auto glass is already about 75% VLT, visible light transmission. So you only have that 5% delta to play in. Our crystalline black 80 nets out on auto glass to like 71.2, something just north of 70. So it's legally compliant for commercial vehicle use.
Yeah, I think most people that hear tint, they're thinking, okay, I can tint my rear windows and that's about it. I can't tint the driver and passenger window. I can't tint the windshield. Mm-hmm. But that's what's interesting with this product is it also used on windshields? I'm assuming, I don't think we actually covered this, but most people are using it on windshields and it's legally compliant pretty much across the board on the United States, at least.
Yeah, you don't necessarily have the look, but you have everything, the feel, the protection, the heat, all that stuff, which is...
Yeah, technically, there's still certain states that say, from a personal vehicle standpoint, because that's who's regulating the personal vehicles. There are some states that still say nothing on the windshield at all, or just like the eyebrow at the top, where it's not full window coverage. Yep. And so, technically in those states, right, you still, even if it was almost clear, you still can't do it. But I mean, in most states that do allow something.
To be fair, they've been doing it with tint for years.
I mean, how many people drive in? Ours is what Michigan is supposed to have any tint, right? How many people drive into our shop every day with windshield, everything tinted? But
to be fair, the point you're making is some of these vehicles are coming tinted off the lot. You're getting them off the lot with a percentage that's too high for your state, right? Like it's already coming that way.
My new car is that way. The new car has basically Michigan illegal tint already on the passenger door.
Just to start. And people don't even realize it now. So that's interesting. But it's the windshield one is sweet from when we've seen it too. Even like besides heat, but even like the sun rays coming through is way easier to look out that windshield than it is a normal windshield. And I don't think that gets nearly enough appreciation for people like me that feel like I can't go outside without having to put sunglasses on. So
the other one we see a lot of for commercial fleets is the safety film, the safety auto film, right? Yeah. So instead of like those cages for tradesmen that have expensive tools in the back and things like that, instead of those kind of ugly eyesores of cages, you can put, clear safety film on there, and it holds the panel integrity of the window, so that if somebody does try to break your window and get in and steal your tools, the film holds the panel together.
Kind of like your windshield when if ever got cracked, it's laminated, right? So it's not going to shatter into a million pieces. It's going to kind of keep itself. It's the same idea in that sense.
Yeah. That deterrent can save a lot of people money.
Instead of just one whack with a tire iron, it takes you a dozen plus, right? And that'll make a lot of noise and probably wake someone up at that point.
Well, most of the people that are stealing stuff are lazy anyway. So after 3, they're done.
Yeah, they're exhausted, right?
Oh, let's go to the next one. Looking for the next quarter.
The thing's fine.
Yeah, they'll tire with a quarter jar. Easier target.
Let's go find an old lady to rob instead.
There's a background story that we'll get to at some point there, but there's not enough time today. So if talking to like primarily Wensco customers here, right? So a lot of these are sign shops, mom and pop shops, people that are primarily doing graphics, a lot of them doing vehicle wraps. Mm-hmm. Have you guys seen a lot of success with those people that start offering PPF and tint that historically speaking have just been, wrap, signage, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the easiest ones, if we bring it back to where PPF originated, is essentially leading edges, right? We're talking about a film maybe an inch wide from our current lineup of PPF that you pre-cut using our software, Pattern Marketplace, and you can cut bands of this and actually just install it on either side of the leading door edge. So if they're doing a full commercial wrap or a wrap in general, that customer that opens the door and accidentally nicks something doesn't need to worry about it, right? That leading edge is protected. We're talking $5-10 in material that could retail upwards of $100-200, right? Great upsell opportunities. Door cups. Anyone that you see with rings, right, or anything like that on their fingers where their door cups are fully done up, of course, same idea. Some PPF is a great way to protect that. Or even net new leased vehicles or purchased vehicles, if you put them on headlights It'll stop them from oxidizing or turning yellow over time. Simple little upsells that still take a little bit of skill, but of course training could be offered right over here. And they'll be able to add, a would you like fries with that kind of option for their fleet customers to get added value. Same with the tint in that sense. So there's always nice ways to kind of incorporate, and knowledge is key. Even on the wrap side, a really popular wrap that people do often is blacking out their roof, right? Well, the reality is any normal vinyl has a shelf life and UV is going to cook it. Even 2080 has a horizontal warranty in this area for around 2 years before you're going to start to see some level of degradation. Well, guess what? If you incorporate just the roof or your hood in protection wrap film with, say, our black, which is arguably the same finish as our high gloss black 2080 product, well, now you got a 10-year warranty that's UV resistant on that same surface area that would have required replacement 3 or 4 more times in that same length of time. So it's about incorporating the right solutions and educating your customer on different price points to really figure out what makes the most sense for them.
The other thing we see with that, going back to our psychology of pricing, right, is discounting is a vicious cycle when you start to play that price game, but free means something different to people. And so as he was talking about the door edge guards, to do 4 doors takes 10 minutes max, maybe 10, 15 minutes, and a couple bucks of film. And the retail value, like you said, can be $100 to $200 is what most shops are kind of charging on average for that. If someone's on the fence between like a partial wrap and a full wrap, I've seen a lot of shops have success with, well, hey, if you commit to the full wrap, we'll just throw this in, right? It's worth $200, and you can kind of nudge them and upsell them by giving away something that really isn't super labor intensive for your folks and is still adding a ton of value to the end user, right? When it comes to like the residual value of their vehicle by protecting their body and paint. So
the other benefit I think with that is we see this all the time with vehicle wraps, right? Where someone starts and they only do signage, right? They don't do any vehicles. Yeah. And then someone comes in like, okay, I need my logo on my door. And they're like, I could probably do that, right? And then they do a door and they're like, yeah, that wasn't that bad. And then they're like, yeah, I need like the whole back of my van. You're like, okay, well, it's bigger than the last one, but probably still fine, right? And they like slowly work themselves into doing full wraps, right? Like slowly over time. I think if they got into any amount of PPF and tint, I think it would be the same. Like, I think a lot of people are super scared to try it and do it. And if they just get their hands on it, especially people that have used a squeegee their whole life, right? A lot of it is intuitive, right? There's little tweaks you need to make here and there to make sure that it works right. But I don't think it's like, oh, great, I need to do another 3 years of training to be proficient in this. I think it's just like, hey, if you understand how this film works, you already know how digital works, right? It's not crazy different. So I think that's where we can get a lot of benefit for our customers is like, hey, if you're just willing to try it, take a training, or at least just watch as many videos as you can get your hands on. If you're familiar with the digital, I don't think PPF and tint are that much more intimidating than digital is. So
I think my best advice for any of those customers, sticky side down. As long as they do that to start, they'll be okay, right? Of course, wet apply is a little bit different, and there's definitely some techniques to it.
4 cars per coat.
Yeah, 4 cars per bottle of ceramic coating as well.
The bottle clearly didn't say 4 cars on it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not supposed to unscrew the cap all the way.
So we do offer brochures that you guys could have as well. There's some literature there for you.
I thought, how hard can it be? Like, they've got this little bottle, and it's not as easy. It looked good when it was done.
You only had the driver's door done. The whole bottle was empty. You're thinking, I might have messed something up here.
No, listen, I'm not stupid. I start on the passenger side just in case I screwed up. I never have to look at it.
So that's always, a golden rule, right? Like if you're new to wraps, always start on the passenger side because guess what? Your driver's going to see their side every single time. So start on the passenger, get it right on that side. You'll be okay by the time you get to the driver's side.
I knew what I was doing.
And honestly, at 55 miles an hour, even a bad PPF job looks good. So you don't have to worry about it too much. So. In 2026, G2G and Wensco will launch 2 new products into the market. The one is the United Stick, which is a high efficiency, affordable, and reliable product for your sign and lighting projects. The second is LumaLink, which has a power pin design that's made to be cut and done anywhere in the field or in your shop. This is for small channel letters or any large projects. Check them out at Wensco.com. This episode is brought to you by Arlon Graphics, trusted for innovative high-performance cast vinyls. Check out their newest product, DPF V9500, a non-PVC polyurethane wall film built to tackle ultra-textured surfaces like a pro. More exciting new products to come soon from Arlon. Check them all out at Wensco.com.
Kudos to you guys too, because I think investing in training in your people, right, is an important part of that. Because as your customers are scaling up in the same way, getting your staff and working with our staff to educate them even further and help them along that process is going to be critical to their success and to our success with them. So
that is something we do well, because you got to be able to at least talk intelligently about it. You might not be able to do it, but you at least got to understand, like, okay, you got to be able to talk somewhat intelligent about it. And you can't talk intelligent about it unless you actually have your hands on it.
Right.
And for so long, they've called. It was me for a long time. Now it's you a little bit and Jason a little bit. There's other people that have now put their hands on at least car wrap stuff where, okay, we can talk intelligent about it. Or I can walk in and say, it's a failure. No, it's not. You did it wrong.
Yeah.
Like, did you even try to clean it before you put it on?
Yeah.
This film isn't textured by default. Did you guys know that?
Like, see those bumps? That's dirt underneath the flat surface. So I imagine around the corner.
That's why it's not sticking.
And that's why we refer to you guys as partners, right? Is that we're right here to help you guys out the same way in turn. So if you guys are not able to get those answers, we definitely have them available. And our team's willing to go out with your team to support them. And I think that's what's really the match made in heaven from how we operate as a business with you guys is, it's not about you just selling your product. We want to make sure that it's the right product for your customers. And we're right there to not just answer questions, but support things like warranty claims, et cetera. Like all of our dealers are able to actually register warranties on our website. So that's going to take care of their customers long term and also eliminate some of the headaches that come with situations, worst case scenario, if something were to go down.
Yeah, we just talked with Jakob about this yesterday. Like, don't call those guys to ask the stupid questions because you just make us all look stupid.
I mean, you could call Brian. That's fine by me. Yeah.
But I said, you guys are that next level. Okay, we can answer all the stupid questions. Is there? Yeah, there's stupid questions. You can say there's no. There's stupid questions. We can answer all the stupid questions, but like you guys are that next level, which is nice because you have a good partnership. Like, okay, I don't know it. You gotta have to call somebody that knows more than me.
But they can sniff it out, man. I mean, like a customer knows in 2 seconds if you've handled film or not, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's
without
the
a doubt.
key for sure.
And that's where at least I can walk in and like I can understand what they're doing. I can understand the tint.
Totally.
Like
you have to.
Like you're never going to see me try to squeeze in and do a windshield or a back window.
Listen,
because I'm way too fat for that.
Don't listen to Mike about coatings.
Yeah, no.
Well, that's why I wanted to try it. I wanted to know. Yeah. Like when we got it, I'm like, okay, well, let me try it myself. And I'm like, okay, I learned a lot.
Yeah.
And now I'm YouTube certified in it.
That's key, right? I mean, customers ask me all the time, can I install? I spent years and years talking to the back of installers' heads. I simply show them my hands. I got no cuts or bruises here. I consider myself more like a fat coach, if you will, right? I'm the guy on the sidelines that gets to eat a cheeseburger at the end of the day. And as long as I got a quarterback doing what he's supposed to do, at the end of the year, we both hoist a trophy together. So as long as I understand my lane, I'm not going to tell you what you're doing, but I know what's right and wrong. That's for sure. Just don't ask me to do it for you, right? Yep. So sticking that way, and it's always worked out for me that way.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. I love it. I think I heard you say it. I don't remember where I heard you say it last, but I was like, that's so good. Yeah. The last thing I wanted to bring up is for people that are interested in getting into the automotive films, at least, we saw even some of the other films that we saw a pretty sweet kiosk at the SEMA show where I was like, this is sweet. I wish I had one in my house.
Yes.
Can we kind of talk about what that is, how that's available, who that's for, all that kind of stuff?
Mark, why don't you tee this one up?
Yeah. It's just a good example of the kind of, the work that Kevin's putting in to bring value to our dealers. And Kevin and I are in the field all the time trying to talk with shops about what's next, what's the next thing we can provide you that helps drive sales in your shop. And so we formed an awesome partnership with a company, XIX3D, who developed a product called Xeno. It's a 3D high fidelity configuration software where you can take nearly 1,000 different makes and models, render them in different environments with all the 3M solutions, and talk to your customers in real time versus looking at a swatch and trying to get them to picture with the concept of metamerism, right? What it's going to look like in different environments. Like now you can just show them what it's going to look like. You can also send that to them like a high fidelity video of their car once you've kind of mocked it up the way that they want, so that if they have to think about it, it's right there front and center. If they're stoked about it and they already signed on the dotted line, they can post it to social and things like that. So there's a software component to that and there's a hardware component to that. Nowadays when you walk into most wrap shops, it's like a basket sitting behind the counter and it's like, well, pick a color,
pick
right?
A swatch, pick a color.
And so this is an elevated experience, right? For really 3M dealers is where it originated from to help them really educate the customer and make sure that they have that level of confidence in what they're buying. They're available now. You can buy them through a 3M distributor, and we're getting them.
We're giving them away to some of our customers too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've got some pilots in the field already, and we've got a big shipment coming in right now to retrofit out some existing 3M dealers with them.
If you're interested in one, reach out to Tyler.
Yeah, go ahead. Yep. My phone number.
Let me give your cell number.
Yeah, 616-890.
Not my number.
Mike's face was just shit. Hang on a second. I recognize that one. Yeah.
He's about to beep it out. Yeah, reach out to us. We'll be happy to help. But I bring that up to say, like, if you're interested in getting into that, from what we've seen, 3M does a pretty good job at setting your shop up to sell the product very easily, right? So if you're interested in that, you want to start getting into it, reach out to us. We can give you all the tools that you guys have available to make it very easy to sell the product. And like you were talking about with the crystalline product, that demo, if you have that in there, it is got to be one of the easiest things to sell. If a customer sees it and feels what that's like, it's a big upsell, especially if you're just doing,
well, even the shops.
now.
Okay, if you're the car owner and you're driving to the shop and it says 3M, if you ran in and it's a bunch of Chinese letters, which shop are you going to go to? Like, you're going to go to the people that have the 3M without a doubt. Like, even above any other thing, everybody knows 3M. So,
and what we're trying to do is really
3M film, put it up.
That,
it's a brand consumers know and trust.
100%. So we're creating and working on our pro shops, and essentially it's a model in a storefront where our customers are using exclusively 3M films for window tint and PPF. So they're branded as 3M. They obviously have the sub branding for their own existing business, but it's upfitted with all of our props. We're working on getting these kiosks into there as well. We're trying to help our end customers, right? Our mutual all end customers, the guy that's driving this vehicle, understand first off from a storefront, that's a 3M shop. I've got confidence immediately, but these guys are certified. They're using genuine products. They're delivering good quality work. We want to make sure that customer experience is fulfilled from end to end. And we're happy to upfit these shops with that point of purchase displays and really help them with, subject matter experts if they're running into any issues and stuff like that as well.
Yeah. I had a talk with a shop owner just recently about that. Like, if you wouldn't put the manufacturer of the vinyl you're putting on someone's car on your front door, then probably don't put it on their car.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you wouldn't put it on your front door, you're not proud of who makes the stuff you're putting on the car, then don't put it on their car.
I honestly, even one step further, if you can't call and get a hold of somebody there, I don't at this point know why you're still using the product.
Or if you don't know who actually makes it.
If you got to buy it via cryptocurrency, there's a little bit of a problem.
If they take deposit in Bitcoin, I don't know, maybe look for another option here, but
maybe Dogecoin, but no.
If they took Dogecoin, no, I'd be in. I think that's great. Thank you guys for coming out. We seriously appreciate it. This was a long conversation. I never started the clock because
we're at 55 minutes.
We're at 1 second. That's how long we've
there
been
we
doing
go.
this
Okay.
for.
We're at 55 minutes.
Well, before we wrap up, we also want to make sure that we gave you guys a little something as well. So this is called A Century of Innovation from 3M. It's a fun read, actually, but it's all about all kinds of different ways that we've kind of created different products that get integrated into your daily lives. The average North American is probably within 10 feet of a 3M product.
Nowadays, I don't even think it's that far.
Yeah, it's not that far. I mean, check out your cell phones, right? It's in your pocket. So we have been around for a really long time, Minnesota mining and manufacturing company. And there's a lot of really cool stories and anecdotes in here. So as a little token for you guys having us on, we want to make sure that we gave you guys a little something as well. So thanks for you guys right over here.
And I can say when I was at your innovation center, whatever it is, the amount of stuff that you guys are in that you would have no clue that 3M's in is unreal.
Yes.
And the amount of
even for us.
Yeah. The amount of innovation that's in there, like stuff you would never know. And there's simple stuff that now seems simple. Like, okay, cars that drive themselves, the reflective stuff that's on the side has to reflect a certain direction or those cars are going to crash.
Yeah.
And to realize that the light has to go at it this way and then come off this way.
Yep.
And okay, well, I would have never thought that, but you guys are obviously way ahead of it. And there was a few things that were just to me, amazing. I
guess
thought about it.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to leave your listeners with this, which is, one last story, which is, don't ever be afraid to talk to your 3M rep if you've got a pain point. When you think of masking tape, where masking tape came from, back in the 40s when they were two-toning cars, there was a gentleman named Dick Drew at 3M whose responsibility was to go into these shops and test out a new sandpaper. And while he was in there, over in the corner of the shop, he heard grunting and groaning about, failed jobs because at the time they were using honey and newspaper to try to two-tone cars, right? And he looked at the sandpaper and he was like, well, this isn't too complicated. It's paper, it's glue, and then it's scratchy stuff. Well, what if I take the scratchy stuff off? Now I've got paper and glue, right? And that was the birth of the tape we all know and love, right? Like painter's tape, masking tape. That was the first masking tape.
It all started.
And then you take that customer problem, you take an innovative solution, and then you apply the science to it. So little things, if you look at the back of masking tape, that paper, what it's made out of is actually creped. It looks like a dollar bill you crumbled up and flattened out. That's the science, right? So that allows the tape to actually conform to the vehicle of the body. But that all originated from a shop, right? Not the U.S. military, not a huge conglomerate cell phone company coming to us with a problem, which sometimes those people do too as well. But the everyday shop had a problem that somebody in 3M was at least curious about, and it resulted in the masking tape we know today. So if you've got an idea, if you've got a pain point, talk to your 3M rep, I guess is the point.
Yep.
Beautiful.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, thank you guys for coming out. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming out,
thanks for having us on, guys.
being on the podcast, and hopefully you guys got a lot out of this. I had a fun time, so
yeah, it was great.
So thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you in the next episode. So goodbye.